Go. Who the hell are you, man?
Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
We are the knights!
Hold on to your butt.
And now for something completely different.
Hello out there, and welcome to the Knights of Nerd 2 podcast. We're a podcast for all things nerd. My name is Chris. I'm here in person with...
I've been hitting the gym lately. It's Sean.
And the cat. And on the Skype hotline, we have...
So, like, dinosaurs are just angry turds with, like, angry eyes on them, right? It's Sam.
65 million years, 65 million laughs. It's John.
Oh boy, folks. Big episode this week. 65. The newest Adam Driver movie to hit theaters. Exclusively in theaters.
That's not its full title. We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Fair enough. What we're also going to be doing, so this week we have a movie review, 65. What we're also going to be doing is 2 TV shows, Mando, a little catch up on that, even though we have been doing it every week.
Big episode, that's why.
Interesting episode.
It was like an hour-long episode, but still.
What is he spoiling?
I don't know.
Nothing.
I'm just saying it's a long episode.
No,
it's a long episode.
It was 50. Okay, it's 59 minutes, but then you have 8 minutes of credits, and then the previously on, and it bumps it down to like 45.
No. Anyway,
we also have Last of Us finished up season finale, so we can give our thoughts on that one before progressing to the next season. And the Oscars were this weekend, guys.
Yeah.
Hope everybody watched. It was fairly not eventful.
Chris, we were all in the same room, so yeah, we did watch it.
Did we? Well,
did we watch it? Or did we live it?
Did we watch it? Did we live it? I mean,
we experienced it.
There were some highs, there were some lows. Let's get into it. Let's start off with the Oscars then.
Go straight into
How's
the
about
Oscars.
that, folks? So, the Oscars happened. There was no physical assault on screen. And we had Jimmy Kimmel back. Jimmy Kimmel, and I want to make note of this because Jimmy Kimmel was actually pretty funny.
I feel like he's always a solid choice.
I was thoroughly surprised. It was a lot better than the trio of comedian ladies who were up there last year.
He's always a B.
But it's not like he's going to give you a C performance or a failing. He's not going to give you stellar. It's just he's there to get you through the night. And in truth, he really did, because once he did his opening dialogue, we didn't really see him too much.
Yeah, I mean, you never really
nice.
But I
think you did last year just because there was 3 of them. So, like, even if you saw each one twice, that's like six bits,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But his bits were relatively short, so I think that was a good plus. All in all, I think the entire show was... What was it? 3 hours and 36 minutes?
40 minutes.
40 minutes, yeah.
Which I'm actually trying to see. It looks like that's pretty much on par, because it looks like the 94th was the same.
Yeah, we hit full docket too. 23 awards.
So obviously the 93rd, which was, what year was that? 2020? Oh no, that was 2021. That one aired. That was pandemic year. That was a short one. That was just over 3 hours.
That makes sense.
Yeah, like obviously.
Well, there wasn't any hugging, so that takes a lot of that. You don't notice it right away, but it really, in aggregate, takes some time out.
Hugging takes a while.
Yeah, and they were in a much smaller space, so there was no long walk up to the stage. So
right.
I think that's
we were in a train station that year, I believe. If I remember correctly.
They were at the train station and like a bar in London. Anyway, do we talk about like how was it as a? I thought it was just kind of like whatever, just sort of boring. I mean, it was some good speeches, I guess. Obviously everything everywhere really cleaned up, which more or less kind of what everybody saw.
Yeah, not a lot of surprises this year.
Yeah, almost
No.
like barely any. Like,
well, the internet haters. The internet haters are out there.
Oh God, yeah.
What was that?
The internet haters.
What's that?
people on the internet who hate things.
People on the internet who complain about things.
Oh, okay. But that wasn't on the telecast. I'm just talking about the telecast. Nothing really out of the ordinary. So, there was like 2 minutes there where like All Quiet on the Western Front won like a couple technicals, and you're like, oh man, maybe it's gonna upset. No, just no.
Yeah. If anything, it shows us the Academy does not like Banshees.
They did they win anything?
I think they won one.
Did they?
No, they were
nothing.
Oh, no.
Tar won nothing. The Fablemans won nothing.
Yep.
These are going to be incredible takes that will definitely stand the test of time. Absolutely. In the Oscar tradition. So we'll see. I mean, I'm not really upset or anything like that Everywhere won. I think, we kind of talked about this earlier too, or on the last pod. There's some where it's like Jamie Lee Curtis.
Let's okay.
Not exactly, this is like that much of an achievement in performance there, but
no,
it was a lot of like,
okay,
people deserved this for things that didn't have to do with the actual movie they were in.
People were hating, and they were all up in arms because Angela Bassett didn't win supporting actress, where they're saying, oh, she's a clear favorite to win. This is just Jamie Lee getting special treatment. And you're just like, clear favorite to win what? I mean, she won SAG, right? And then somebody else won BAFTA.
Angela Bassett won like the Golden Globes. That's like 12 guys.
Yeah. It's not the Golden Globes. Isn't that the one that everybody boycotted because there was no diversity on the voting? Yeah. So that was last year. So it's
Chris. They have like 4 black people now, so it's all fixed.
Yeah, and a woman.
But it's look, Jamie Lee Curtis did better than Angela Bassett in totality of the movie. I mean, especially
I haven't seen
screen time.
Yeah.
I mean, to say somebody did better, I mean, I'm obviously debatable.
It's all subjective.
Exactly. But I mean,
they are awards though. That's sort of the point.
Right.
Okay, right. Yes, all art is subjective. Okay, let's get into this.
Yeah. No, but
isn't that the point of art?
I will say, at least in the beginning, I felt like this show was really like cruising along. They were really trying to get this thing done as quick as possible.
But then they hit the technicals.
Yeah, and then the technicals kind of hit, which it's
like the same thing every year.
So last year they kept out how many awards? It was like 4.
They didn't keep out any awards. They just edited down 6 awards.
So it was 6 awards.
I thought it was 4.
Okay, so
whatever it was.
We'll say 5.
Well, Split the
whatever
it was.
So we'll say 5 awards were heavily edited down. If you look at it, this year being 3 hours 40 minutes, last year being 3 hours and 40 minutes, with like 5, 6 to 4.
Well,
they did cut down on time. There's still an issue that it's 3 hours and 40 minutes. Like it's almost the same length as Avatar.
I don't want to say the slap was definitely, but I mean, I don't know if it's really apples to apples when you got the whole slap thing happening.
But that didn't, in totality, that didn't take too long.
Yeah, let's say that took.
Yeah, but I think that like threw people off. Well, yeah, but then Will Smith made like a 20-minute, in what Jimmy Kimmel choked about it.
Yeah, the 19.
Where like no one's gonna play him off. They're pretty afraid.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, so I will say this: very nice for the Oscars to not be embarrassing. I will take boring over embarrassing, at least in the short term.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's the same. Like I feel like it's always the same complaints of like I don't really care about the songs.
Yeah.
One of the songs, like I mean, for real though, I mean these are all just songs that are in the credits. Like like Natu was in the actual movie.
Yeah, right. Natu was in the actual movie.
Natu, the only one of those performances where it's like, yes, this belongs on a stage because half of it is just people dancing.
Which, do you hear the controversy over Natu? Which I didn't realize. It's like
what that it was almost no.
I think there was 0 Indian, South Asian, like natives were part of that dance group.
But wasn't the movie about colonization?
Yeah, anti-colonization.
Anti-colonization.
So the fact that the movie, Yeah, right. But
Pro
the fact that the
color.
movie's about anti-colonization and they have no one native to that area doing that dance, even though they have people, they can easily get it, but they didn't. There was like it was just kind of tone deaf. Like I'm not somebody to
I could
jump on
definitely
that.
understand like some,
Yeah. Oh,
like,
yeah.
it not being like, okay, well, like we're not going to search like the entire world just to find like 20 people who like fit a certain thing who are available this
Right.
night or capable. But like, yeah, it's not a great look when I think they actually did have like literally like 2 or 3 because those were the guys in front.
Oh yeah. The two guys who sang, they are the guys who sang it in the movie. They're not the
Right.
actual actors, which they didn't even have the actors on stage.
Oh wait, they didn't sing though. Not the two dancers. There were actually people singing amongst them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they were dancing too, but
I don't know.
either
I
way,
think it was probably just an audio track, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
They
It was
were
a
definitely-
production though. It wasn't just like someone sitting at a piano.
Right.
God.
Which hey, if it's incorporated into the movie, at least that's like spectacle and like something that's interesting, and not just here's a song.
Yeah. That's
Mhm.
that's fine. I did like some of the speeches. I usually don't care for them, but I like Brendan Fraser's.
Oh yeah.
I almost teared up a little bit. I mean, this guy has had a bad go of it because of certain things, and
well,
I'm not saying he should have won this as a sympathy thing, but I haven't seen Whale, so I can't tell you. But I mean, it was nice to see him get up there. Like the dude was shaking as he was nominated, like his name was announced, and the guy was already shaking.
Like I feel, once they were like Brendan Fraser wins, and he's just like in disbelief, like shaking hands and hugging, like, oh my god, I just got called.
He couldn't even spew a word. I'm like, God damn it, you're awesome.
Well,
I want you to kill all the mummies.
It was nice.
It was really,
But-
and the Jamie Lee Curtis speech also like nice and amazing, and
This was definitely the feel good Oscars.
it was right.
Ke
Huy Quan,
like his speech.
Huy Quan was
like I was on the verge of tears listening to him speak because he's like, granted, he's older than we are, but like I see him, he's like a child up there. Like he is so proud of everything that he's ever done. And did you guys see the moment when with Harrison Ford?
Yeah,
like.
He was jumping up around. I'm like, it's short round again.
But like he was hugging Harrison Ford like he hadn't seen him in like 30 years. And Harrison Ford was just so proud for this guy. And like it was such an amazing moment when those two embraced.
I wish he would have just been like, get up here, shorty.
But like Harrison tried giving him the Oscar. And he's like, no, this is for somebody else. And like, so Harrison gave it to somebody else. But like,
the only speeches I was really just like, oh god, again, is like with the Daniels, just because,
yeah,
I like their move, but they're like a little much sometimes.
I did, yeah.
Like three doses in like 40 minutes or whatever.
Yeah. I was very happy with Del Toro's speech where he came out and said animation is not for children, it is an art. Like it is
Which
film.
I feel like every year the animated category makes that speech.
I know nobody feels as slighted as the animators. It's incredible.
Yeah. Well, like the last animated film ever to be nominated for Best Picture was Beauty and the Beast.
Oh.
Yeah, because they're children movies.
I don't like. I don't know if anybody's more slighted than the guy who won the Oscar for the category that Chris Rock was introducing, where Chris Rock, as soon as they announced it, Chris Rock was reading off the names. He's like, Questlove, somebody else, and he's like, I don't know, some other white dude. But the dude was not white. He was a black guy.
Yeah. Well, that was last Oscars.
Yeah,
it was last Oscars, but I don't think anybody's been more slighted by that one guy.
Yeah.
Who's just like, I didn't even get my name announced. It's just I'm some white guy, but look at me. It's
yeah. Well, I mean, it's the Everything Everywhere Oscars. Definitely left the imprint. That was, I mean, unquestionably, I guess the movie of the year, more or less.
Yeah,
Stamp with that. And it's nice to see with something with a bit more cultural footprint and just frankly commercial success win, as opposed to, I mean, Nomadland is tough because I mean, I don't think even in a regular year, Nomadland was really going to be a barn burner at the box office.
No.
But I mean, probably wouldn't have been Best Picture either. But there's a lot of small productions that like I don't think people really see, and I don't know if this was really that wide, but I think like within a certain base, you know, younger people, that sort of thing. Like I do think this did have like some resonance, and that was cool to see. It doesn't always work out that way.
And we did see the Oscars ratings went up 13%.
Yeah.
Did they really? What about viewer numbers? Did we?
18.8 million.
That's
Well, it's still the
pretty much
third-
on par, right, from last year.
16.
No, it was up 18%.
Yeah, 18%.
Oh,
Yeah.
For some reason I thought it was
last
19.
year was 16.62%.
I mean, I think it's the third. It's the third lowest rated Oscars, but you
it's
know,
still,
we're on a solid. We're on a
It's
solid
an uptick.
upswing.
It's an
It's
uptick.
trending the better way.
Right.
Yeah.
Very true.
All right. It's final tally here. It's no secret that Sean swept house on this
I
one.
got 21 of 23. Correct. Second place was Chris, getting 15 of 23. And tied for third or fourth place, however you look at it, Sam and John both got 14.
Okay.
So,
All right, fair enough.
Not bad.
Pretty easy Oscar year.
It was, yeah. Pretty straightforward. The only two I got wrong was Brendan Fraser as actor of the year. I said Austin Butler, and I said production design I gave to Avatar. It actually went to All Quiet on the Western Front. Only two big ones that I missed.
Okay.
So,
all right. No other comments further on the Oscars until next year.
On to TV.
Let's do.
We do have some movie news.
Sure, go ahead.
This one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
Well, no, James Gunn has said he's officially going to direct Superman.
Was it Superman Legacy or whatever? It's
Yeah.
Who is the Superman?
Don't know yet.
No one yet.
Yeah,
James Gunn.
I don't know. I don't know.
James Gunn is James Gunn.
And he's also going to be
Superman.
Zahn.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that until I know who Superman is.
I mean, they're still in early
take it for the data
stages.
points that you have. Like, do you think that's
James Gunn?
I think James Gunn directing a Superman movie just sounds crazy to me. And like the only, like if he wasn't the head of the studio, I don't know if that happens. I feel like that movie maybe gets announced but never gets made. And this one I feel like probably is going to get made considering he's the head of the studio.
Do you think? Weird question, but do you think James Gunn is directing it because no one wanted to?
This is what
I feel like
concerned with.
He's directing it because he wants to.
But doesn't he have like a couple other movies that he's directing in DC?
I don't think so. He was writing this, which was
I know
the only
he was
one I think he
writing
was
it.
writing.
Oh, I
don't think he was actually chose to direct anything. I think he was involved with all of them, obviously.
Right.
So this is also a concern, not a concern, but something like floating around in the back of my head. So James Gunn is competent. We like his work. You know, we think he's a good director. He has twists that he can put on certain things.
Yeah.
This would be our 9th, 10th Superman film. I mean,
4.
If this
5.
and not a lot of them have been like super popular.
Well,
you know,
it would be our 7th standalone.
Well,
Superman.
I think
but
the Reeves ones are pretty popular.
At least the first two.
The first one, the first one definitely.
What, 4 of them?
Yeah.
So I mean, we're there.
The
Like
last
we've
one
seen a
is
lot.
god
Let's
awful.
just put it out. We've seen a lot of Superman. We've seen a lot with movies, TV shows. Like we've seen a lot.
Yeah.
If this thing, and I'm not saying it will, and I don't think it will, but if it crashes and burns, is the DCEU dead? Or it's not even DCEU. What is it?
No, they're going to keep making
Worlds of DC.
movies.
You think they're going to keep
They
doing
just
it?
announced 20 DC movies. They're going to make some of them.
Yeah, they're
I mean, you announced 20, but
that's the thing that you see with DC and the big difference between Marvel and DC that from a like character standpoint is you notice that Marvel has some A tier and B tier superheroes, and they're definitely getting into like C tier right now.
I think we've already hit there.
Whereas DC doesn't. They have like 5 people. Like there's Superman, there's Batman, there's Wonder Woman, there's
A-tier?
Flash, and there's Aquaman, and that's about all all they got.
Their A game.
No, that's like all they've got.
That's all they. Well, yeah, you're not wrong. And then the Flash is in hot water,
right?
Because your actor can't.
So they're talking about possibly
There's Green Lantern, whatever that is.
The Lantern Corps, which is like, do you go Hal Jordan or do you go John Stewart? Like, you've got two, but both of them are like minor characters.
You could make a cheap Arrow movie.
Yeah, which Arrow worked because he's not a superhero. He's just a rich dude, just kind of like Batman.
He's vigilante. Yeah.
Like he's
Batman,
not
basically.
like most of DC.
He is Batman with a bow and arrow. That's really all he is.
But like with Marvel, you get a lot of these characters where you're like, oh, it's a person. This, whatever. In DC, it's like, well, he's God in this form. It's like Superman is essentially God, or Aquaman is God, but he swims, or Flash is
Black Adam, God,
but with magic.
Shazam, God.
Well, Shazam and Black Adam are the same.
Shazam.
Yeah. But like they're all basically the same characters.
Wonder Woman, God. Yeah.
I mean, the other thing is all people just shooting lasers at each other. Like, I mean, what are any of these?
But what I'm saying is, at this point, DC has basically made these movies so many times that you're really not going to see much like new coming out about any of these characters.
I guess though, but we just got a Batman. There's been so many Batman.
So we're getting a new Batman.
Well, yeah, actually we are. But
so there you go.
They're gonna make.
There's been like 10 actors to portray Batman, not really including animated.
It's been a lot.
There's been a
amount.
Ton. Superman. There's
so what's your point though? I mean, I think they just made a Batman that did incredibly well.
They did, but like everybody talks about with Marvel being superheroed out, you're gonna be DC'd out at this point because of
it's all superheroes. Yes.
Yeah. So.
But because of like Zack, you're seeing the same characters, but with a new origin story.
It's got nothing to do with Zack Snyder, though.
No. I'm saying so. He just did the last attempt at a universe, is what I'm saying. Because of that, and that leaving a bad taste. Now they have to reboot everything again. So you're going to see an origin story basically for everyone all over again.
I don't know. Not necessarily. Like, look at the Batman, which I understand is not connected to this universe. That's not an origin story. Like, there's just like, hey, this is Batman. You know who Batman is.
It is, though.
I
think you would describe that as an origin story?
It's like his second year as Batman.
This was an origin story.
Yeah, it was essentially an origin story.
I don't know. I'm with John on this. That's not really an origin story.
Batman Begins as an origin story.
I don't think you can say character progression is somehow an origin.
But the thing is,
he grows as a character, which is weird for a Batman movie. But
you know who Batman is, though.
Yeah, and that movie's like
this was an origin story for Robert Pattinson's Batman.
Was Batman's parents dying referenced in the movie?
Technically, that's an origin story.
Yeah, but it's a big part of his life.
No, John's not wrong. It is what shapes.
I don't think we saw it though, right?
Yeah, we didn't really see it.
Did we see it?
It's been
like
a year since
I've seen it. Right, where they show you it for like the 12th time.
Yep.
Look. I think going back to just the DCEU holistically, or I forget whatever it's called at this point. I think all these superhero movies are popular and people do go see them, but I think what benefits I don't want to say Marvel because we're moving on from that, but like consistent characters is that you have the ability. There's like the ability for others who are not superhero or action movie fans to go see those movies and kind of be linked with the characters. Whereas if I can convince my parents to go watch a Marvel movie because they're like, oh, Iron Man's in it. We know who that is. It's Robert Downey Jr., But you say, oh, watch Robert Pattinson in the new Batman. It's the best one since Dark Knight. My parents would be like, wait a second. I thought Christian Bale was Batman. And then they'll have to do like a mental reset and they'd be like, all right, well, why is Ben Affleck Batman? They don't. Yeah, because they will never see Dawn of Justice or the other stuff. But like
then they wouldn't even know he's Batman.
They wouldn't even know. But then they'd see him in like pictures, and then they're like, all right, well maybe we like this. Let's go see the Flash. Wait, why is Michael Keaton in here? Oh wait, from the old Batman. And then it's just it's almost excluding a certain group. Like you've already cut one of the strings that you could potentially hit a market.
I just feel.
So do you think them like just being weird and being like, oh, maybe Michael Keaton's in this one or whatever, that's less accessible than like, oh, I have to watch 35 movies to understand what's currently happening?
I think that's more of a turnoff than starting at the beginning of Marvel and then just going. Then
do you really think your parents are going to go see Quantum Mania before just the Batman?
Well, no, I think my parents stopped at Endgame and that was it. So
okay.
Either way,
hats off to them that they even got that far. Honestly,
well, it's that certain family members were in bed for a long time / hospital, so they had time to kill, and that's kind of when they started doing it.
But more or less, and I hate to go back to Zack Snyder, but like that's the thing to blame. You have James Gunn who's taking over DC and trying to make heads and tails and try to like mainline everything, like kind of take the mess that was Zack Snyder's universe and what came from that and try to like salvage it and make it one streamlined story.
But he isn't though.
But and that's the issue is like they say that like with Shazam.
I love how it's like the Snyderverse is horrible, but why won't they stick to it?
No, I'm not saying they should stick to it. I'm saying
everyone's confused now.
No. But he's
trying. Snyder. What do you mean?
He's trying to build out. He's trying to spin off what's good about Snyder, but he's also saying, but we can't ignore Joker and the new Batman because they're not part of that Snyderverse.
Yeah.
So they are considered the
worlds
timeline.
of DC or
world of DC, Elseworlds. Yeah.
But like,
and that's just you're begging. You're a glutton for punishment if you're like, oh, we're gonna keep these, but do a different Batman. Two simultaneous Batman.
All right. I don't mean to, but I was just saying, James Gunn's directing Superman. And we got way off on it.
Yeah, we did.
But show.
I actually do have thoughts on that.
Okay.
Which is I don't feel like this is the kind of movie James Gunn would be good at directing.
See, yeah, exactly. Like this seems so out of place, out of character for him.
Like not even like where it's like, ooh, maybe this will take him in an interesting direction. It's just flat out, I just don't think this is what he's good at.
Like if I were to rank every single superhero and what would be the most applicable for James Gunn, Superman would be probably, if not the last, among the last, which maybe is why he's doing it. He wants to kind of stretch himself a bit.
Yeah.
Or maybe it'll just be Superman making fart jokes. I don't know.
He's not like, he's a good director, but he's not a great one. So like, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know if he has that in him.
It's going to definitely be a comedic tone.
I mean, I'd like to be proven wrong that he can do a more like serious tone, but like,
well, because like I'm thinking James Gunn, and I'm like, obviously the Scooby-Doo movies, which the original was supposed to be more of a soft R than it was.
But that's what he's good at is sort of is like what's the word?
Inventing the wheel, I guess, in a way with
like taking something and subverting it, you know, just like the taking Scooby-Doo and being like, why don't we just make it a soft R?
Let's mature it up. The target audience isn't like a bunch of 5-year-olds anymore, so let's make more like mature jokes and
the Suicide Squad, where it's like, okay, let's just make it a raunchy comedy.
Or that
actually makes sense.
Slither. Slither. One of his lesser movies, but like it's a
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. But like Slither's a body horror, but it's funny. Like, how do you make a body horror funny? Like
first cast Clint Howard.
Okay. All right. We're getting into it. We're getting down into it.
So he was just a writer on Scooby-Doo, right?
No, he directed it.
No, he directed it.
At least the first one, right?
Not according to IMDb, the Internet Movie Database.
Who does it say it directed? I thought he directed that.
Oh, Raj Gosnell.
Which everyone knows.
From Scooby-Doo fame. Yes. Can we move on here?
Sure. Let's talk about the real shit. Chris, Den of Thieves 2 sounds like it's actually happening now.
Yeah.
So glad that two people in this world are excited.
I love how it's like sounds like it's actually happening. So yeah, why not?
Well, it was supposed to start filming like last summer, and then I was like, I don't know, randomly I was like, oh, did that ever happen? And no, it didn't. But now it sounds like it might be. So
They said what, spring of this year they're going
in
to
a
start?
couple months.
Yeah.
So
that's
Gerard
kinda
Butler.
nice.
Who,
All
why
right.
would he lie?
Yeah. Well, that's
He's got all that plane money now.
it's what
Right.
he's
Is
got
this,
going.
is
Oh
this-
yeah, that's right. Plane. I can see
yeah.
that too.
Was this a direct to Netflix movie, right?
No.
Oh, it's not?
Den of Thieves was in
Theatrical.
theaters
Was
for
it?
it was one of those kind of like short window things, and then it hit Netflix.
Oh, okay.
No, it was like 2017 or 2018.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Was it? I thought it was.
I thought it was a Netflix.
It's
I
like
thought it was
being on
short.
Netflix like a shitload, so I can definitely understand like thinking that. But
Really
no, it was
striking while
yeah.
the iron is hot on this one, you know.
I've only seen it on, streaming on the small screen. I wish I had a time machine to go back and see it on the big screen. See Big Mike on the big screen.
You know that movie from 2017? Let's make a sequel to that.
Well,
you guys
I mean,
you guys have no idea how good this movie is.
it was.
And I don't
good.
even mean like it's ambulance good. It's ambulance good, but then like Gerard Butler is just like on a total tear the entire time. Like if he wasn't in it, I'd be like, oh, this is whatever. But
Yeah, the scene where he just shows up to his ex-wife.
yeah.
It's like a dinner party. Yeah, that was good.
Or when he's at Benihana and he's like, we come here for the ass. All right.
All right.
Oh,
Let's
Master Chief
let's-
was in that movie.
let's
Awesome.
yeah, he was. Let's move on to he was also in 13 Hours.
Written
let's-
in part by James Gunn.
Let's move on to Last of Us.
All right, HBO.
Season wrapped up here.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna recap. So
No, stuff happens.
can I
and
ask what's I just want to ask particularly the last part of the season where they escape the hospital.
Okay.
Is that actually in the game?
believe so.
Okay.
yes.
I think
I
that's
know-
like the last, like this was the end of the first game.
First game, yeah.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Like I think that's
So-
the like last level.
Like the giraffe scene is 100%
Yeah,
from
yeah,
the game.
I knew
Like,
that.
which that was a real giraffe, guys.
I
it
would
doesn't
never
look
guess
like it.
that.
You know why? Because of the green screen behind the giraffe
it. Yeah.
was just so bad that it looked fake.
Mm.
But
but
don't whoever's listening, don't think that that's the problem
No,
with the show.
no,
Like
no,
this
no,
is
no,
a
no.
much better budget apocalypse than The Walking Dead by far.
Well, it's HBO, that's why.
Well,
not
yeah.
AMC.
Well, that's what I mean,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm saying.
But
Much
here's
better.
the thing: The Walking Dead has zombies in it, and this one has like
Nothing. Yeah.
none.
Well, I mean, I just don't think it's a zombie show.
but
It's like
a
an
zombie
apocalypse show.
game.
Yeah, but it's not a zombie show.
But it's a zombie game.
I know.
But is
I
that
hope-
interesting?
I mean, do people play the game because of the cutscenes or because of the gameplay?
So let me be the first. Let me be the first one, and I don't know if you guys feel it, but towards the end, I'm like, all right, well, this isn't really as good as I wanted it to be.
No.
Because I needed a little bit more action.
Yeah. And
this is not a end of world zombie
Yeah.
style show.
it felt kind of like The Road, the movie The Road, kind of, where it's more or less about the relationship between these two main characters after the apocalypse. But like, if you didn't see zombies or the infected every so often, you would have no idea it was a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah. Like you
at
cut
all.
out how much of the show and you don't even realize there's zombies. Like
Yeah.
you cut out, I don't know, 40 minutes of the season and you
Yeah.
wouldn't even know.
No clue. I mean, there's the whole thing in the first 2 episodes where they really go in depth about like the infection and like how these things spread and this, that, and the other. Like, there was no reason for it because they
Yeah, and
don't
you had those
really
cool cold opens too.
Yeah.
Which they more or less abandoned, which like that wasn't at all from the game, which
Yeah.
is fair. Look, I don't disagree. This is not a zombie show. Of what's currently in front of us. That said, I don't know if the show is better or worse because of that. Truthfully, like I think this actually, in the strictest of terms of a video game adaptation, like, did it adapt the game well? No, but like, was it a good piece of entertainment? I think it's pretty strong compared to what most video game things are.
My issue with that argument of it being a good show is at the end of this season, did I care for Ellie and Joel? And the answer is no. I do not feel like it did a well enough job of establishing these two characters as people I need to care about. And I feel like in that regard, it failed. And so, the only thing that it could fall back on is some sort of action, like Chris said, and there was none.
So as someone who knows something of the game but didn't watch the show,
right?
I believe the point of the characters in the game is they're supposed to be unlikable.
Yes, but you ask anybody who's played the game and they really like the characters.
Yeah, but that's sort of like they're likable because they are unlikable, you know?
I guess. So we'll see how season 2 deals with it. But like I said, they introduce other characters that in the game you play as, and it's kind of force-fed that like you need to like these characters. And I know a lot of the fan base hated that and hated the direction that Last of Us Part 2 went with the storyline. Not to spoil any, I'm not trying to spoil it or anything. So, but it got a lot of hate. A lot of people who are fans of the first game did say, "Oh, I really liked the second game," but they just like the direction that it went and the character development that it went through like was god awful. But it was a really solid game. I've met one person who's played it that liked it. And other than that, like everyone I know just hated the storyline, the character development, and everything. And the creator, who is also, I guess, the showrunner, the creator of the game is also he's one of the producers. He came out this past week and was like, "I don't give a shit what people feel about the game. I don't care that you hated it. That's the direction I'm going." And so he's not hearing the criticism and the things that people don't like, and he's just going the direction he wants to. So I have low expectations for season 2.
Well, in the defense of TV shows becoming movies or visual media, usually they don't translate well.
No,
so
they don't.
If they don't want something, or if they do want something from a game, I'll support him ignoring criticisms because they should. We're established now. You don't need to follow game.
No, but
gameplay.
He is.
They're taking some small bits, and the overall story is very similar.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But season 2 is going to follow Last of Us Part 2. Although I've heard that, so this has been renewed, I believe, for a 3rd season. And I
think it was only 2.
I thought it was only 2.
They've said they probably are doing a 3rd season, but nothing official.
Right. So I think what they might be doing is splitting Part 2 into 2 parts.
Sure, because everybody's doing it now, so we might as well.
Why not?
Well, no, but they're not doing 2 6-episode seasons. Like, I think they're actually making 2 real seasons.
2 full, 9 episodes.
Yeah. They're not doing the AMC bullshit.
23 episode seasons.
Yeah. But I don't know. Like,
will we ever see those again?
What, 23 episode seasons
on network TV?
Yeah.
No cable show ever made 23 episodes.
Bones 24.
But those are
cable. Fox is Fox's. FX.
Yeah, I
mean, Nip Tuck. No, I'm sorry, I'm going off topic here.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's done.
I thought as far as action, I mean, look, there's no getting around. There's not a lot of zombie action. I mean, there's. When's the last time we saw a zombie? Even
the last episode, you get one at the very beginning when you see Ashley Johnson's character.
Right. Yes.
Which I was reading an article today about that, and they're like, you wouldn't believe how like important Ashley Johnson's character and how deep that that casting is for that role. And I'm like, because she played Ellie in the game, so in the show they cast her as the mom. Like, that's the depth. That's it.
Yeah.
That's as far as that goes. And people are treating this like this is
wild,
the greatest thing
like,
anyone's ever done in television history, is hiring the voice actors or actor or actress to play a part where they're in it for maybe 4 minutes.
I'm pretty sure.
And the
getting
voice
guy
actress
to do,
who does done a lot of live action work as
Right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
She was in the Avengers movie.
getting Optimus Prime to do the voice from back then to
That was
now
awesome.
throughout all these movies. That's
Frank Welker
I think that's
to
a
do
bigger.
like Star.
You
Was it he
never
did
guess.
Starscream?
I think that's a bigger
Yeah.
feat.
It's just so dumb how like people think that way. But anyways,
Yeah, it's called clickbait.
I know.
It's because they literally have nothing else to
They need something to write, and
Right.
unfortunately, they just write crap.
You would not believe.
Oh my god.
But just getting back, talking about action, I actually thought there was a lot of action in this episode.
The last one.
I thought, yeah, well, I thought there was. I mean, it wasn't like action packed the entire way, but maybe just because I've been so starved that like the shootout we did have, or Joel's like rampage.
Mm.
I don't know what's the word for doctor murder, like doctor side. I don't know.
Oh, it's the Doom
Position
rampage.
side.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty great actually.
No.
Like how he just flicks a switch and apparently just becomes Jason Bourne. And then this doctor's like, "Oh, I can help you all." And he just shoots him. Like, that was fantastic. And then too, how he shoots the Firefly lady.
Yeah.
That was great. That was like, I don't know. I thought it was actually kind of an interesting turn of him just being like, well, she could save the world, but they're gonna have to kill her, and I'm gonna really miss her. So I guess I'm just gonna waste everybody in this hospital except for her. I thought that was just cool. I mean, not like it was a very interesting choice that we don't really get in a lot of things.
I mean, you kind of saw that was how it was going to go if you don't know the source material, because in the previous episode when Joel meets up with Ellie after meeting that stereotypical cult that eats people,
Walking Dead season 4,
right? Yeah, because that never happens in a zombie movie.
Right.
Anyways, no, but like the first thing he says to her is like, "I've got you, baby girl." So like right there, she has taken over the daughter role.
Yeah.
Like, so, he will do anything to save his daughter at any cost. Like, she is his daughter now. And like, you saw that at the beginning of the season that he was, like he is still obsessed with her, like with his daughter and losing her, even though it's been 20 something years.
Yeah. And he talks a lot about that in this episode too. And, talks about how he tried to kill himself. And, I agree with you though, Sean, that I never really bought, not necessarily the characters were believable, but that I really cared that much about them.
Yeah.
They definitely weren't compelling. And maybe it was, I think Sam was talking about it, how the characters are at least drawn that way somewhat intentionally in the game, that they're supposed to be unlikable. But, you play the video game because it's a fun game to play. It's not like, well, I really identify with the main character. That's great when that happens,
right.
But there's plenty of games where it's like, I don't care. On a TV show, it's different. I'm not getting the FPS, whatever you want to call it, happy vibes with that. Like, it's I actually have to like the people I'm sitting here and spending all this time with. I do think we get we get a lot of background. Like there's that standalone ep with Ellie, in the mall.
Right.
It helped, but
that episode within itself was just problematic for me anyways, but because like
we talk about that one?
I think we did. No, Chris is shaking
a little bit,
his head.
barely.
More or less. My problem. So in the DLC,
that's a deal. Yeah,
that's the DLC. So in that DLC, they're at the mall. And then basically a wandering horde shows up, and that's how they end up getting bit. In this one, it's like she's been stationed at the mall for a while. You gather based on the amount of stuff there, and there's just a zombie just chilling out in the toy store, and like nobody did a sweep of the whole place. It was just there the whole time. It was dumb, like how they ended up getting bit.
They really did, like, for a video game adaptation, they really did suck the game out of the story.
Yeah.
Like, and it's, again, I'm not sure if it's worse for it, but it's not an adaptation of the game, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's how I look at this adaptation of the game is they took all the cutscenes and made that the show without putting in the part that people enjoyed, the part where they actually got to play. Like imagine a Halo show if you cut out all the gameplay that you played through, like that story, and they just went with the cutscenes. You're missing a lot of gaps there.
Also, they cut out all the cutscenes as well.
No, I'm saying imagine a show. I'm not saying that.
I'm saying we got that.
We didn't even get
they just
that.
also cut out all the cutscenes.
We got a
of what? The Last of Us?
No, the Halo show. We got.
But Halo's not the game though.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, if they were like, we're going to do a faithful adaptation of Halo the game, Combat Evolved, but everything that happens during the action sequences are going to be cut out, and it's just going to be the cutscenes.
Yeah, I'd have a hard time imagining that. Probably just because it's a literal war thing, and there's really nothing of interest outside of that.
Yeah.
It'd be like Captain Keyes and like Cortana talking for 30 minutes.
And welcome to The Last of Us.
Yeah,
that's all we got is characters talking and nothing happening.
That would actually maybe be an interesting thing for the Halo show. It would have nothing to do with the game, but it would just be the story, like leading right up to it, like after Reach and all that.
Like, I remember talking to a coworker that loves these games.
It's just waiting for Godot, but Godot is Master Chief.
It's a Master Chief.
So here's a difference between the game and the show that they could have shown. So in the game, in the Last of Us game, the episode where we meet Bill, where like I said, love that episode. It made me cry at the end. Like, very touching show, or touching episode. In the game, when they go to his town, it's infested with clickers, and he's still alive. Why couldn't they have done that?
Yeah.
Like, add zombies to your zombie show. Like,
it's really weird too, because like they made the zombies look cool and then just didn't have zombies.
Yeah, like the last cool zombie we saw was the
bloater.
Yeah, the bloater, which was how many episodes ago?
4.
No, that was like middle of the season.
It was it was 9 episodes long, so it was maybe 5 episodes. But either way, like, it was half a season ago was the last time we saw a cool looking zombie, and there are so many different kinds of zombies. I think there's like 6 or 7 different types of infection, and they've shown 2, and the last one we saw was 5 episodes ago.
Yeah,
like,
I think it's just a post-apocalyptic show, and like honestly, the zombie part is really almost a MacGuffin to make this trip a reason for being, because there's a virus and Ellie is
the cure.
That's really it. And like, zombies are way better than just people coughing on each other.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on.
All right.
Well, we just take to one step back? What did you think of the season as a whole?
I mean, it was interesting. It was well done, but like, no, it's not for me.
Yeah.
You're gonna watch the next season?
It depends. Maybe I'll give it like an episode or 2, see if it actually like follows the show, or follows the game. But
yeah, I think it needs more zombies, so I'll give it a shot. Second season, but if we're not seeing a good progression with that, then I'm probably gonna tap out. I'm not gonna lie. I watched all 3 episodes like recently.
I've been doing 2 at a time.
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't even watch it for like 3 weeks.
I watched the second to last episode, and then I watched the last episode. And when like nothing was happening, I threw on 7 Days to Die and started playing that while watching.
Well, anyway.
Well, That's not getting the cinematic experience. I thought it was well done. I don't think any of us really deny that.
Right.
I just don't think it ever really grabbed me. I was among the three of us clearly way less bothered that there were no zombies, but I just don't think there was much else there to fill the hole.
Yeah.
You know, that's some interesting episodes, but you know, I don't think I'm ever really going to go back and rewatch this.
I do feel like without the zombies, as like this show just became as generic as possible without the zombies. I feel like the zombies gave it something unique. And once you took those away, every survivor they met along the way was that generic survivor that you meet in like any zombie show or movie or whatever. Like you had the cult that was eating people. You had like the society that was run by a crazy person. Like
they dedicated that whole episode to that cult who ate people, and it's just
went nowhere.
If it's not, I don't care that it went nowhere. It's just it was such a generic episode.
Everything was.
If you're going to spend time doing it, do it. Put a flair with it.
Like notice it was almost like a monster of the week.
It was
type
or
every episode,
Walking Dead season nemesis type thing.
It was like this episode we're going to meet this person. Now they're dead. Now this week we're meeting this person. Now they're dead. Like that was every episode.
That was even the flashbacks.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're going to get that to some extent whenever it's a road trip kind of thing. But
yeah, true, probably. All right, we got to move on.
It's not exactly stuff you've never seen.
Sam, did you like it?
Hey, watch it.
Sam, that's a simple yes or no question. No.
Yeah. All right. We're moving on.
Let's talk Mando, which was definitely not formulaic this week.
No. Different.
It was a little different. I mean, look. Really, so Mando was the front end and the back end, and it was nice. But I think that even though those were the more exciting parts, I mean, I think the big thing here is like we actually hit chorus on it, and this is the first time since episode 3 since we've been back, right? Or episode 2 since 3. We were there. We're there. Like we actually
say
went
Return
back.
of the Jedi. That was like 3 seconds in an add-on movie.
I thought when you said episode 3, I thought you meant episode 3 of Mando. I was like,
no. Episode 3.
Yeah.
2009. 10, whatever it was. Look, I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of excited when we went back, right?
I mean, Chris, you get lots of Coruscant Andor.
True. This was a very Andor-ish episode, I think, though.
It was incredibly Andor, Chris, which is why I enjoyed the shit out of this episode.
Oh yeah,
did you really?
Right, Sam?
Yeah, I love the. So this is one of my favorite kinds of stories. Is when you just have a bunch of characters being like, "Now what?"
Right.
I just love that.
Like you get the sense of some people like that aristocrat in there who's like, "Oh, I can't keep them straight," you know? And they're like you're just waiting for someone to be like, "Yeah, but the trains ran on time during the Empire."
Yeah.
Like you're waiting for somebody like that, which is a kind of complexity that frankly, I mean, maybe not quite that, but like even anything that like remotely hints like that. Because you get this whole what do they call it? Reintegration or assimilation whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
Is this incredibly dystopic, like, I don't know. You don't really see anything like this for like the New Republic is supposed to be unequivocally good. It's never been presented as anything else in the movies except for as a force for good. I mean, more or less, right? Like, I mean, the Resistance is good, and they're a reflection of the New Republic.
And, but I also like the kind of like complexity of it because they even have that comment where when they you have all those ex-Empire guys talking and they're like the Empire wouldn't have done this, and you get the hint where like, oh yeah, the Empire would just shot all of them.
Yeah.
And so it's like this weird like I don't know how to feel about this because they're clearly stripping of them of their identity by giving them like numbers and shit.
Right.
Yeah,
which
like,
is
none
almost
of them
like
have names.
Why
so weird.
This is a big course correction against it. Another thing I like too is just, if you're going to have a Star Wars TV show, I was talking a lot about I guess that was last week when we were talking about the Star Wars movies, how Star Wars is kind of cinematic, or at least like it's supposed to be with the movies. If you're going to make a TV show, I do kind of like, it wouldn't be every week, but I do kind of like these like dives in the mundanity of like, oh, this actually is like what the world is like the details. Like there's talking about, oh, this is the highest point on Coruscant because like,
Oh yeah, I love
Oh,
that.
yeah, that was cool. Yeah.
Oh, like I was sitting throughout this entire episode just being like, yeah, stupid Star Wars shit.
Yeah, take the fucking subway.
Oh yeah, they're gonna have these like popsicle things that glow.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I'm just like,
there was one point where like he dropped it and she's like, "Come on, let me get you a photon fizzle." I'm like, "That's in my cookbook. I know what that is."
Getting arrested by a droid because you're not paying a fare.
Yeah.
Right. It's super. It's just. I mean,
like, what does he say? Chorgs Day? Am I right?
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
Look, as a person who did not like that section of the episode as much.
Oh, you didn't?
I
Okay.
mean, the one thing I love about Mandalorian in the Star Wars stuff, they're building out the world, and quite literally, that is exactly what they're doing. And I'm just like, God, it's boring, but still, it's nice.
But it's fun. Yeah. It's all the like silly, stupid things that you'd like. When you think of Star Wars, you're like, action, lightsabers, blasters. And it's like, this is like so toned down. It's
You know
like,
what?
look, it's a walkway.
I'm all like numb to lightsabers right now. Just give me Mandalorian fights.
Just give me glowing fizzy pops.
Yeah.
Or well, I mean, sure.
Yeah, no, I think as a whole, this episode, like once it took that turn to Coruscant, I was like, this is different, and I really enjoyed it. Like you said, Chris, like the best parts were the beginning and the end. Dealing with the Mandalorians.
John's having stake in the head.
Go ahead, shake your head. But because but like the middle part, you got what kind of felt like what you could kind of dip your toe into in the prequel, at least the episodes 2 and 3, but the prequel trilogy, like it was kind of dipping its toe into that kind of territory. I really liked the whole scene where he was just like talking to the audience and whatnot. Although the one thing I noticed him touching his ear, and I don't know what, like, did he do that prior to this episode?
I think that's supposed to symbolize him when he's like lying.
That's what I was picking up as, but like I wasn't sure because like we haven't seen him in a while, and I wasn't sure if he had done that in previous seasons.
Yeah,
as like a nervous tick, like he's lying, because he does it a couple times in this episode.
He's barely in the first season, so.
Right?
And I
may not see him again.
I wasn't as sure even. I did kind of like the ambiguousness. I mean, maybe you guys had a different read on it. I wasn't sure if he was up to no good. Like in I mean, look, I mean, the things he was proposing was probably unethical.
Oh yeah.
Or, beyond what acceptability. But like, I don't know if it was actually for malicious ends. Like, I don't know if he was actually doing it for evil.
No. My vibe was that this is a guy who, he has this talent in, genetics and cloning, and he wants to do good. It's just he doesn't know how to.
Right.
And you have the New Republic, who's just trying to burn everything Empire related.
Right.
Including him.
Yeah.
And
I mean, like, he's obviously this talented, like, scientist, and he's given a desk job.
Yeah, it's like, and I love that whole element of like the New Republic trying to like denazify the galaxy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like you don't really think about it, where you're like, oh yeah, there's just a bunch of like of these like low level bureaucrats and like soldiers who just were trying to like make a living.
Mm-hmm.
And like, where is their loyalty now? Like, can they be reintegrated? Should they be integrated? Should we really just burn them away, or are we just wasting talent here?
Like, it's just so wild to me the Baby Yoda show did this.
Yeah.
Ask these questions.
Yeah.
And like, I don't mind them to be separate. I'm like perfectly, as long as I get one, I'm fine with the other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not like everything has to be like this either.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. And there's like, some like parts where he's talking about I don't even what is his job or whatever. I mean, he's more or
Oh,
less like
so he's
shoveling shit. But
pretty
like,
much. So yeah, he's taking Empire data and then
just, like,
filing
erasing
it, and then it's being purged.
right, which like
Because
why?
he brings
So
up, he's like, like some of this stuff is very useful can be very useful for
Yeah.
the Republic. Like the Republic can use this, and the guy's like, you'd have to fill out all these forms and this, that, and the other thing, and I've never seen that happen. So it's
he's essentially the DMV digitizing records.
Yeah. Where he's like, hey, let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater, and they're like,
Yeah.
well, maybe some babies are okay.
Right. But in this episode, you also get an understanding, sort of what he was trying to do with Grogu.
Yeah, like make essentially like a hybrid.
Right? Using something that is very strong, and I hate using the term from the prequels, but with a high midichlorian count. You take that with something else, you can make something else.
Oh Jesus, that's coming back.
I know.
Did they ever say the M word in like
they said
Clone Wars?
Yes, M count in the Mando.
Yeah, but you're literally, so we know part A. We don't know what part B was going to be to create a part C. So we're missing part of what he was trying to do, but we know Grogu was a major part of it. So you're that whole speech of like what he was doing with the Empire, like he goes into that. And I like that because once again, it gave you a reason why the Empire was trying to get to Grogu, because they're trying to use him for whatever this genetic experiment is about to be. It's just kind of fleshing out that a little bit more, and I did like that.
And I also just love, like, at the end of that speech when he's like talking to those like high class people. Maybe they're supposed to be like senators or something, but you still you look at it, you're like, oh, nothing's changed. Coruscant, like the upper crust of Coruscant, are still these aloof, like detached assholes who just do not care.
It's just another Torx day.
Yeah.
And
you're just like, it's so great.
But it's just like, I'm just shocked that like we got this from Mando. I mean, like, really though, like, and
we get this from Andor, but like that's kind of the point of the show. Whereas, like,
I actually rewatched the Prison Break episode after watching this.
One Way Out.
Dude, that show's so
One Way Out.
And then he's like, he can't swim. Oh my god.
Yeah. So I think there's a couple things I think more to take away from this. Not just this. Clearly, these two like this other part.
Well,
but
could I, before you get to the beginning and the end, what do we think this means? Is this like them sort of like rebooting this plot, and now this? What was her name? Integration officer or whatever?
Yeah, I think she's trying to keep Moff Gideon's work under wraps.
Right.
And
but
do you think Moff Gideon is like gone, or is this?
No,
like,
he's captured, right?
He's supposedly
he's supposedly captured, but they do mention like nobody knows what happened to him.
Right.
So I
like,
think he's
maybe what's going on is like Gideon is sort of starting to manipulate the New Republic from the inside.
Yeah. Running an underground almost.
Because so if you like just break down that middle part, like what happens? So that scientist guy's like, hey, I can get all the material that we need to continue my research that Moff Gideon and his cronies have access to. I just need a portable lab. She's like, hey, I will get you to that lab. They get to the lab. He grabs all the instruments and everything that he needs. Then they get captured. What's the first thing she does? Grabs his equipment, steps back. They arrest him. So now she has all the equipment she needs to continue his research.
Like, honest to goodness, they didn't go that direction, but I really thought like these were just a bunch of, crooked cops.
Oh yeah, I thought that it was
that she just paid off to like arrest him, but then it's like, oh, she turned him in, I guess. But like that's because you even get that with like the aloof like people running it, where you're like, oh yeah, like he can manipulate this like Palpatine did, because like nothing's changed.
Yeah, and little criticism I have for this episode is love when people who are like, my job is to control this machine. Now don't touch it while I leave. La 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 la. Obviously, she's gonna touch it, and like nobody picks up on that.
That was stupid, but
yeah, like that was just dumb. Stupid Twi'leks.
Although significant increase in our Mon Calamari population.
Yes, I love it. Keep introducing the Mon Calamari.
Yeah, why not? I love the reference. It's she trapped me. It was a trap. All right, let's get to
I wanted the Mon Calamari doctor be like, "Listen, that's a racist trope. I don't appreciate it."
Just not recapping. I think what you said about Bo-Katan taming the mythosaur is coming. I think the
final shot of this episode kind of like hints at that, where she looks at the skull on the wall and then like looks back.
I think another important section too is that it looked body language wise like she's actually accepting this is it. Yeah, I'm converting to this.
I don't think she's converting. I think she's
using them as a military source.
Exactly.
Of power.
I sort of feel what's like kind of go like watching this when she arrives there and like she starts walking up. I'm like, oh, she hasn't removed her helmet. She's still clean.
Yeah.
In their eyes.
Yeah.
And so like I'm starting to feel like she's. I still think like her Mando's clan here is still like way too extremist.
Oh yeah.
But it's like her getting back to her roots and getting to the point where she deserves the Darksaber. She deserves to become Mandalore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she's gonna at the end of this, she's gonna be riding the Mythosaur and using the Darksaber. That's what's gonna happen. Yeah. I'm really upset that he melted down the spear.
Oh, the spear.
I think it works better with him, but yeah, whatever.
What did he melt it down into?
The Grogu's armor.
Yeah.
Oh right, yeah.
Of which we might see him get a helmet this season too.
Oh,
I mean, he is a
how
found,
adorable.
Right? When do they get
with the ears?
The helmet go on, and the ears just.
Yeah. Seriously, he's a foundling, right? I don't know when they. I mean, the Mandalorian lore is being built as we speak, so I don't know how long it would take.
He's like 80, so
50.
50. Well, it's been a few years. 53.
So we'll say 60.
Sure.
But no, the only issue I have with him getting the helmet is he has to keep it on.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't think
he's just with the ears poking out.
I know, but I don't think it's gonna happen because it'd look weird.
I'm almost wondering. No, we're looking too much into this. No way. Okay. All right. So Mando's, still going strong. Well, let's move on. We might maybe wait 2 weeks to do Mando.
Okay.
Again.
Unless something important happens.
Yeah, we'll see. We say that, but then we do it every week for some reason.
I was particularly happy with what the change of pace was, but I'm kind of happy there was just a change of pace in general.
I agree. Yeah. It was nice. It gives some space, and like we keep saying, it fills out the world a little bit more.
The universe, Sean. The universe.
Next week we're going to get the Star Wars version of Judgment at Nuremberg.
Right.
All right. You guys have a movie, right?
We do, and this is going to be really, really fun and quick. So Sam and I went to go see 65, or as it's known at the beginning of the movie, that's not its actual title. Sam, what is the actual title of this movie?
65 million years ago, a visitor came to planet Earth or something.
I believe it's a visitor. Oh God, it's like, oh my God, it's so dumb.
It's a paragraph.
Yeah, it's like the whole. So
that's the title of the movie.
That is the title of the movie. So
the title card of the movie is that.
Yeah, which interesting enough comes with 65 minutes left in the movie.
Does it really?
No, but it like the intro to this movie is forever.
Oh.
It's not a spoiler because when you sit down in this movie and it starts sprawling through space, it's like before we started searching the heavens, blah blah blah. There were other civilizations in our universe that were also looking to the heavens to explore. This is their story. Boom, Adam Driver as the alien.
I like how you basically did the Law and Order intro there.
Boom, boom. Yeah.
There are two different kinds of alien explorers.
Yeah. So it starts on an alien planet with Adam Driver, his wife, and their child, who is sick, being like, "Oh, honey, I know you have to go on this mission for 2 years, but the pay raise is going to help for our daughter's, treatment in this disease that she has."
Chad, the minute she started coughing, did you also go, "Oh, this bitch is gonna die"?
Oh yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. So we're just dealing with the tropiest, most simple writing we could possibly imagine.
As generic writing as possible. And once they showed Adam Driver on the spaceship flying through space, I was like, oh, she's already dead. Like immediately, I was like, oh, this is more than 2 years in the future, because that's of course where this movie's going. Like more or less.
Wait.
Yeah.
I want to see if Chris can guess this. Chris.
Yeah.
So you're making a movie. Takes place 65 million years ago on Earth, and you want to create some kind of time pressure on your characters that they have to get off the planet in a certain amount of time.
Oh Jesus! Before the comet hits.
Yes.
Like they look up at the sky and you see it coming.
Oh my God!
At that point in the theater, I just hear Sam so loud go, "Oh, come on!" Like it's
like you just see something in the sky. I'm like, oh, really?
This movie was like as generic as it possibly could. Like a 5-year-old kid who loves dinosaurs could have written this story. Like it is so.
No, Sean. A 5-year-old kid who loves dinosaurs would have actually used real dinosaurs.
Would have used real dinosaurs, because if you watch this movie and you're expecting, you're like me, and I'm like, I like dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are really cool. And then they show the first one, and you're like, I think that was a raptor. I think, and then it shows these like anorexic molitor lizards with like legs twice as long as they should be, and I'm like, that's not a dinosaur. And then T-Rex shows up and you're like, yeah, this is T-Rex. Why is he buff? Like, why does he have giant arms? And
why is he running like a dog?
Yeah, it's a quadruped. Or like you're like, oh, there's this little like baby dinosaur stuck in the tar with a T-Rex head. Oh, I guess it's a baby
T-Rex head
with like an ankylosaur body for whatever. Like,
and like its tail isn't the ball.
Flat.
It's just like a
pancake.
Like a paddle.
Like it's a paddle so it can swim. I'm assuming.
Wasn't it hilarious when that they like rescued it and it's just walking along and they get jumped by those other dinosaurs?
Just immediately dies.
Like, I've been recently rewatching Futurama, and I just thought the Bender line of, yeah, nature is hilariously cruel.
Like this, but so watching this movie and like being able to sit back and like think about it, this whole movie was a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was a poorly written, rejected version of a Twilight Zone episode.
No, but not even that. Like, I'm going farther than that. It's a Twilight Zone retold by somebody who doesn't understand what twists and turns are. Because, like, what are the twists? The daughter is dead. That's a big twist. But, like, it's not a twist in this. It's just kind of like so blatantly obvious that when that twist finally comes, you're like, yeah, I know. And then the other twist is like the fact that they're aliens. They come out in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, it's like the first shot of this thing is they're like, these are aliens.
Yeah,
right.
Like it's like there is no twist to this movie, but they set it up like there are several twists and turns in this movie. It's just they show you them all in the beginning of the movie for whatever reason that is. And I don't understand why they did that. I'm happy this was an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Sean,
yeah.
Sean, given how like generic everything in this story was, how pissed were you that Adam Driver doesn't die in the end? They were setting that up so much.
But it's so generic, of course he didn't.
I know.
Why
It's like they like wimped out right at the end.
You want to know where my mind went immediately once it like the spaceship crash landed? Before we even found out there was any survivors.
Yeah.
Like at the point where he was like, "They're all dead." Bleh. At that point, I was like, "Oh my god, is this going the route of being like Adam Driver, like defrosts a woman that he finds?" And they essentially become Adam and Eve, and like they're the first of humanity on Earth. Like I
thought that's what might be where we're
because
going.
That's how dumb of a movie this could have been, but it went dumber somehow. It just like I don't understand.
Yeah,
any of the choices they made in this. movie.
It's like they made every bad choice. Yeah. Like even with like the dinosaurs, just to go back to that. Because I kind of want to harp on that a bit more.
Oh yeah.
It's like you take one of the most diverse and beautiful like moments in our natural history where like all the animals are covered in brightly colored feathers.
Yeah.
And you basically are like, okay, but what if they're just turds with angry eyes on them?
Yeah. Or like you know, one of the most iconic dinosaurs being the T-Rex. And there are 2 T-Rexes in this movie.
Yeah.
And like Adam Driver takes care of the 2 of them. And then a third, quote unquote, third one shows up. And it's jacked. I called it Swolosaurus Rex because it was swole. Like it was and like looks like a T-Rex minus 2 massive front arms. And it's like walks up as a biped, so you're like, oh, it's T-Rex, and then it's like arms come through the mist, and you're like, wow, this dude's jacked. Why go that route?
Every day is arm day.
It's true. It's like why not just look at dinosaurs? Like you're doing granted, it's a sci-fi movie with dinosaurs. They're not saying this is an alien planet. If this was an alien planet, I'd be like, yeah, fine. These were the quote unquote dinosaurs they saw on the planet. But no, they established this is Earth 65 million years ago. This is the late Cretaceous. These are the dinosaurs that exist.
Very late Cretaceous, like the last 5 days.
End of the Cretaceous. Literally, there's a moment where they're like, oh no, imminent impact in 12 hours. Let's go. And they start running because they only got 12 hours left. Which, like, I love that like hours are the same no matter what. Anyways, yeah, and like there is an Oviraptor, I believe.
Oh yeah, I saw the Oviraptor, but it was blind in a cave. And I was sitting there like, what does it subsist on in this cave? Because there's nothing in here.
There's one way in, one way out. But there's Swolosaurus Rex is at the entrance right now. So like, how do you get out?
Like, I will say this. That like fight scene between Adam Driver and the Ovisaurus, kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because we had it's
blind, it's dark, and he's like,
but like it was shown entirely from the perspective of that motion sensor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. There were like moments that didn't go anywhere, like when they first crash land and he's going through the muck, and you see the fin of something go by.
Oh yeah, that like unusually large creature for like a small little pond.
Yeah, and like they never go back to that that creature ever again. But like I did rewatch the trailer today after going to see it, and they did cut out a lot of this movie.
Oh, it definitely felt like
like there's a part in the trailer where you see Adam Driver like smear the red powder stuff like on a tree like as a marker, and like that never happens in the movie. No. There's one scene with the red powder, and it's when he's communicating like
family.
That's it. But yeah, it's this. After everything I have said, Chris, I know you were like, "Oh, I'm interested in seeing this movie." See this movie.
Yeah.
Seriously, you need to see. Like, for how bad it is, it's an hour and a half. So easy to go see. Go see it at a matinee. Like, do not pay full price for this movie. Trust me. but like go see a matinee of this. It's a super quick movie to watch. Just to see how bad, like you have in your mind, like, oh, this couldn't be that bad. And then you watch and you're like, oh no, never mind. It is that bad.
Curious what your numbers are going to be.
Yeah.
So Sean, what dinosaur made you laugh the hardest?
Laugh
the buff T-Rex, apparently.
Honestly, I love Swolosaurus Rex. That was
Rex?
Swolosaurus because like he's in the trailer, but you wouldn't know it because his front arms are blocked by the mists and like the steam and stuff. Because I like I said, I rewatched it and I tried looking up the dinosaurs from this movie, and like everything is people being like, I think this one's in it or I think that one, but like no one knows. So it's obviously no one actually went to go see this movie, because no one's written a news article about it,
or at the very least, no one sat through it, which was our experience in our theater.
He sat down 5 minutes in. It was us and two old guys. 5 minutes in, the old guy on our right got up and left, and I was like, oh, he probably just has to go to the bathroom. Then like 15 minutes later, the guy on our left gets up and leaves, and then like a half hour later, we're like, I guess they're not coming back.
Yeah.
This is just us.
Like, how do you leave that quickly? I was very confused. But, oh my god!
All right,
Hey,
numbers.
When you know.
Yeah,
exactly.
Numbers. Let's get some ratings here.
I was trying to see how much this has made. So far in the box office, this has made $23.3 million on a $45 to $91 million budget.
Yeah, that's a tough sell.
This is so with a movie that is advertised as written by the people who brought you A Quiet Place.
Is 23? Is that domestic or worldwide?
I think that's worldwide. Right.
Yikes.
Now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
but it's
bad.
like Quiet Place writers and then produced by Sam Raimi, which honestly, we all talk about producer. It means nothing, but like that's kind of a big name to be attached to a movie. And for it to be this bad, like for them to drop the trailer and everybody being like, whoa, this is going to be awesome. I can't wait to watch.
Oh, I didn't.
Adam Driver
I never
fight.
thought this would be awesome.
Oh no,
I think it was more just like this is a movie no one had heard about.
Exactly.
Yeah. And now we know why.
Exactly. Yeah. You need to see it to understand how bad this movie is.
Like it's confusingly bad.
Yeah.
You're just like, why are you making these choices?
Yeah.
Okay, would the experience of watching this be better or worse if Netflix dropped this immediately following the Super Bowl?
So if Netflix dropped this, we obviously all of us would have watched it, and I feel like we would have had a more negative experience watching it.
Okay.
Because you'd be tricked into watching it. Whereas in this case, like I went into this knowing it was a shit show.
Yeah, so did I. Like my whole conversation with Sean about this was like, I want to see how they fucked this up.
Yeah, and it turns out
it's just Adam Driver shooting dinosaurs.
Yeah, but I don't think.
How do you fuck that up?
But the thing is, I don't think you ever thought it would be fine or acceptable.
No, but it's. I mean,
I want to make a bad movie, and this is it. That's what.
But I don't think they were trying to make a bad movie.
You think they were trying to make a good movie?
Yes, I do.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Then their producers
Adam
or whoever
Driver
financed
started
them.
every line like he was in a good movie, and by the end of that line, you could see him realize this was not a good movie.
You know what would have been awesome though? If like halfway in, you just see Adam Driver and he's got like the little 3 red dots on him, like it's Predator, and then it's just a Predator movie.
Honestly, there were moments where I was like, is the Predator just gonna show up here? Because like
I
have no idea why we're
What
here.
studio
I was
put
fully
this out?
prepared to go into this movie.
This was
and
Sony.
Rip it apart
Columbia.
scientifically. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is a Sony movie. I was fully prepared to rip this movie apart scientifically because I was like, my eyes were open. I was like, I know there's dinosaurs in this movie. Let's see how accurate it is, because one of the things I know is in the Cretaceous, grass didn't exist yet.
Oh,
and there's a point where they walk through a grassy field.
Probably the downfall.
Yeah, oh, no, but what I'm saying is I was going into this movie looking for that, because that's like, if you're trying to say, oh, it's just
like
why? No, hold on, John. Let me finish.
Okay.
So I went in looking at that, and then once the dinosaurs were revealed, I was like, oh, they didn't care at all what was going on 65 million years ago. That like I feel like the creature designers were like told, hey, we need you to make some dinosaurs. And he was like, dinosaurs? What are they? And they were like, well, they're like big lizards. And that's what he went off of.
It's almost like he was told he was making a Harry Potter movie, and at the last minute, they were like, "Oh, but no, they're dinosaurs," and so he had to quickly be like, "Oh, I have to make these dinosaurs," and that's how we got these.
Yeah, it's baffling how bad everything, and like you said, Sam, it's like every time you're making a movie, there's always a fork in the road. Which direction do you go? And they literally chose the wrong one every time.
I'm just shocked that you had like any inclination of going into a movie about Adam Driver shooting dinosaurs with like the science guy setup.
Oh, I mean, that's just me. I was just like, hey.
Well, no, I understand that in the sense of like, okay, how do I make this review interesting?
Yeah.
But like, the interesting part of this review is how do you make this many bad choices?
Sean does all his research every time he watches Sharknado. So
all right, so what do you guys? We're going a little long on this one.
Sam,
what's
Sam? What's your rating?
I'll give it like a 5.3.
Oh, I went with a 5.1.
Okay. This is your first rating for this year, right?
For Sam, I believe it is. Not for me. No, Sam went to go see Ant-Man and the Wasp. John is the one yet to do a rating for this year.
Although I did see a new movie. I did see a movie that was new to me.
Yeah, but it wasn't 2023.
Yeah, but it was bad.
Okay.
What was it?
I don't want to get into specifics. It just happened to have Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal in it.
No.
Oh, wow.
All right. Well, that's a post-pod to talk about. Anyways, yeah, so 5.3, 5.1. It was half a movie.
All right.
Good job, everyone.
So let's just wrap it up.
Yeah.
If you like all these episodes, you can find them on all the standard streamers for free, and they're all they should all be out there. Right? Yeah, they're all out there out to date. If you like us, send us a review. We appreciate those as always. If you want to send us a message, give us some suggestions, comments, facebook.com/Knights of Nerditude. That does it for us this week. Until next time.
Bye.
Adios.
Good night and good dinosaur.